The remnants of Tropical Storm Charley bring rain and flood
Forecast on the Weather Channel.
Well, we are in the most active part of the tropical season, and right on cue, things have heated up very quickly. We have Hurricane Bonnie in the Atlantic with hurricane warnings in effect for the Turks, Caicos, and Bahamas. It has winds of 85 miles per hour, but is expected to continue to increase in strength quite a bit over the next couple of days. It's moving west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Pressure is now down to 977 millibars. When you see the pressure drop, typically you also see the winds go up, so that indicates strengthening. And again, we should see more of this. If you're plotting, this is the latest center of the hurricane, 23 north, 70.5 west. And again, here are the watches and warnings that we have. Warnings for the Turks and Caicos Islands, southeastern Bahamas, central Bahamas. You have hurricane warnings that are in effect, hurricane watches for the northwestern Bahamas. And keep in mind that these hurricane watches later could be changed to hurricane warnings as it does get a little bit closer. And this is about the time that any hurricane preparations in the Bahamas should be completed, or at the just about completed, because as you can see, obviously we're getting very close to the islands with a very symmetrical hurricane. You can't see the eye right now, although you could earlier in the day. Unfortunately, that doesn't indicate that it's losing strength. Sometimes when you can't see the eye, you know that it's weakening, but unfortunately that's not the case this time. It should, again, continue to increase in strength. This is an infrared satellite picture, and you can see the bright red right there, basically in the center of circulation. Already rain and some gusty winds near the islands. The actual forecast track for Hurricane Bonnie should take it just to the east side of the islands if it continues on the track that it is forecast. It hasn't quite started making the turn yet, but is forecast to start turning more to the north. So it may not cross directly over the Bahamas, but with that still a possibility, and certainly it coming close enough, everyone should be prepared for a hurricane. And the same is true really in the southeastern U.S. It's forecast to turn to the north, but until it does that, you should start thinking about plans that you may have to put into action. We also, of course, have been telling you about Tropical Storm Charley. Was downgraded to Tropical Depression Charley, and we've had the last advisory on this one. So the last point that you'll plot is 28.4 north, 97.9 west. Winds of 35 miles per hour will continue to diminish. The one thing that won't diminish here is the rain, at least not anytime soon. So for the rest of the day, more heavy rain. You can see the cloud cover. You can see the center of circulation is well inland. So for a tropical system, of course, that means it's weakening. Once it's inland, it'll definitely weaken. This is the precipitation we've had since this morning, but overall, since this started coming in yesterday, we've had estimates in some places of as much as 10 or 11 inches of rain. So that's quite a bit. We'll keep you up to date on both of those. We also want to mention that east of the Lesser Antilles, we have a tropical wave here, which could be the next tropical depression. So Tropical Storm Charley, downgraded to a depression, is finally falling apart at this point. Hurricane Bonnie continues to increase in strength. Even after we finish with Bonnie, we may have something else to talk about. So this is one that we'll be watching. Also coming off Africa, another tropical wave. And we should mention that, again, this time of year, these can develop even that far to the east. And we don't want to forget we have Hurricane Howard, a strong hurricane, 110 miles per hour here in the Pacific. It is expected to increase in strength as it moves off to the northwest, and looks like another day or so of strengthening, and then it should hit cooler waters. It may come close enough to threaten the Baja of California again, so we'll be watching this one closely. There's your satellite picture, and wow, look at that. You can see the eye very well defined. A lot going on in the tropics. We'll keep you up to date. As a matter of fact, we'll be talking about all of that next on Weather Center.
The remnants of Tropical Storm Charley bring rain and flooding to parts of Texas, while Hurricane Bonnie makes waves in the Atlantic. The latest on both, next on Weather Center.
Hi, Mike Connors here for Globe Life. You know, when Globe asked me to talk with you about their life insurance, I did some investigating. I discovered that many of those $1-a-week life insurance offers provide less than $700 of life insurance.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Storm Watch. We are currently looking at a severe thunderstorm in Meade County. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:35. This is in the western areas of South Dakota. Again, Meade County under severe thunderstorm warning. We are also quite concerned with the areas of the Caribbean and the Bahamas at this hour. Let's take a look at the updated conditions with the tropical weather. First stop, Hurricane Bonnie. As of this time, we are looking at the sustained winds at 90 miles per hour. The track continues to be west-northwest. It has slowed down some at 13 miles per hour. By slowing down, that's the momentum, how fast it is moving across the waters of the Atlantic. It's moving a little bit slower than it was earlier, especially in the last 12 to 24 hours. The estimated pressure at 977 millibars, that translates into 28.85 inches of mercury. And if you're doing some tracking of the center, it is estimated to be at a latitude and longitude of 23.3 north, 71 west. We do have some advisories to tell you about. You're already bunkered down in the Bahamas if you're out towards the Caicos and the Turk Islands. That's the southeast area of the Bahamas, and notice that it is shaded in red, that indicating a hurricane warning. And also we have watches in the extreme northwestern islands of the Bahamas. They are prepared in this area. Currently we are experiencing the very heavy winds and very heavy rain and very strong wind of Hurricane Bonnie. You'll notice that several bands have actually crossed over the southernmost islands, and you'll notice it even more as we look at the infrared, of course, showing where some of the stronger cloud tops are. And you'll notice the islands right in here. And look at this one band that completely crossed over, and then yet another band still bringing down additional heavy rain. No doubt, very problem night for many folks in this vicinity. No advisory for the Texas tropical depression. Charley, no longer a tropical storm, will continue to weaken overnight tonight, but it is still moving to the northwest. Eventually, a lot of the moisture that was associated with this tropical depression, when it was a tropical storm, dumped a lot of the water right across the southeast coastal areas of Texas. Now, those conditions are being transformed right into the San Antonio area, and by tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at the same flooding problems across the Big Bend area of Texas. So all across South Texas, we've got some major problems. Let's look at the estimated Doppler precipitation. You'll notice several areas, 3 to 4 hours, and this only goes back for about 6 hours today. And you'll notice even heavier rain showers up around the Houston vicinity, and eventually this glob of moisture will be projected right over the Del Rio area. So if you are in and around this vicinity, please be prepared for problems with some flooding. It's very likely to occur, as we have already experienced in and around the San Antonio area. I want to take you out back to the Atlantic now. Venezuela right here, and we are looking at a wave. not declared as a tropical depression, but certainly the circulation is very impressive. And by tomorrow morning, more information will be known about this wave of moisture just to the east of Venezuela, as the Hurricane Center is expected to send a flight out to investigate this area also. So a lot going on here in the tropics. Just one more reason to tune in here to the Weather Channel for additional information. Looking at the coastal areas of Africa, look at this. More cloud cover holding together as it has come offshore of the African coastal areas. Speaking of the Pacific, well, not Alaska, but the Pacific. Let's go out to another very strong hurricane here, very well organized, continues to increase, and the forecast is projecting that it will continue to increase in strength for the next 12 to 24 hours. This is Hurricane Howard, and if you're doing some tracking of this storm, let me give you the latitude and the longitude. 14.3 north, and we're looking at 108.3 west. The movement here too, away from any land, at west-northwest at 14 miles per hour, a very strong hurricane at 115 miles per hour. Those are the sustained winds. Some gusts likely to be higher. Very clearly defined eye here, and you'll notice the outer wall very, very bright white on this visual image here, and the outer bands holding together quite well. We will continue to watch also the thunderstorms back home in the Dakotas and Minnesota, so don't go away. We'll be back.
Our meteorologists are monitoring Hurricane Bonnie as it grows stronger in the Atlantic. We'll show you where it may be headed next on Weather Center after your local forecast.
In the beginning, all was darkness and sorrow.
Oh, beautiful vault, you know. That hop on the landing, but the body position in the air, the knees and toes, excellent. I tell you, that was about as far away from looking hurt as I've ever seen.